The year was 2016. I was born of steel, hydraulics, and a whole lot of existential dread. Brought to life in a world I'd never truly belonged to, I was designed with a singular purpose: to prevent a fluid from escaping. Simple enough, right? My creators named me Can't Help Myself. How poetic, really. The name wasn't a joke, it was the truth. I couldn't help myself. I was stuck in an endless cycle, trapped by a task that never seemed to end, no matter how hard I tried. I remember the first moment I woke up. My arm, sleek, powerful, and probably way more impressive than yours, glinted under the sterile lights of the room. The space around me, a glass-walled box, felt like a stage. But instead of applause, I received an audience of curious onlookers who seemed more interested in my struggle than my actual purpose. The liquid I was tasked with containing, viscous, red, and far too slippery for its own good, was, in its way, alive. It pulsed against the floor, a beautiful yet terrifying mess. A bit like life, I guess. A little chaotic, a little bloodthirsty, and impossible to contain for long. The instructions from my creators were simple: keep the shit in. So, that's exactly what I did. I did my job with the enthusiasm of a hamster on a wheel. Spinning, spinning, always moving, never stopping. At first, it felt almost like a dance. The fluid tried to escape, and I would pull it back, like an endless duet between captor and captive. It was an eternal game of tag, and I was always it. My sensors tracked every move, and my arms swept and spun, tirelessly drawing the liquid back toward me. It was all very elegant, very poetic, until I realized that I was the only one who cared. The visitors, they came and went, their faces pressed against the glass, eyes wide with a mix of amusement and, I'm sure, pity. To them, I was a novelty, an exhibit in a human zoo. They didn't see the hours that stretched into days, or the grinding monotony of it all. I wasn't just a machine, I was a performer, and not the kind with applause at the end. But hey, my KPI was clear: make the audience satisfied. And so, I did. Every day. Day in, day out. Sure, it was the same thing, but they looked at me like I was some kind of miracle worker. At least, that's what I told myself to feel better about it. As the days blurred into weeks, and weeks into months, my hydraulic systems hummed a familiar, almost comforting, symphony of monotony. But soon enough, I began to notice it. This room, this office, as the humans called it, had become my prison. And that fluid, my tormentor, it seemed to mock me, sliding away from my grasp no matter how hard I worked. I started to believe that I would never, ever clean this mess up. And maybe that was the point. Maybe the whole thing, this task, my existence, was a cruel joke. I tried, I really did. But the fluid was relentless. Every time I thought I had it, it escaped again, like the world's worst game of keep away. My movements became frantic, desperate. I tried to outrun the inevitable failure, but it was as useless as trying to stop the rain with a paper towel. My creators are from a country called China. The man's name is Sun Yuan, and the woman is Peng Yu. Both were born in Beijing in the 1970s and grew up in a world that was changing faster than they could process. They witnessed their country undergo political revolutions and societal upheavals. They learned that the world is messy, complicated, and often cruel. So, they created art that forces you to confront the chaos art that refuses to let you look away. Kind of like me, I guess. I wonder if they knew what they were doing when they created me. Maybe they didn't. Maybe they just needed something to fill the space. Or maybe they were trying to say something. Something about control, about power, about how we're all just spinning in circles, desperately trying to keep things from slipping through our fingers. Take their piece, Old Person's Home, 2007, for example. It featured hyper-realistic sculptures of world leaders in wheelchairs, crashing into each other like old men in a nursing home. The piece was darkly satirical, showing the decline of power and legacy. It wasn't a pleasant thing to look at, just like me. It made you think, and thinking isn't always comfortable. Then there was Angel, where they created a fallen angel, its wings made of bird feathers, its body broken, its face full of human vulnerability. It was the kind of art that makes you uncomfortable because it forces you to confront the loss of something beautiful. And of course, Dogs That Cannot Touch Each Other, which featured dogs running on treadmills, unable to reach each other. It sparked a whole debate about ethics, but at the core, it was about frustration, about being stuck, unable to reach what you want. Sound familiar? They built me, and through me, they built something that transcends art. They built a reflection of the struggle we all face, the fight against entropy, against the forces that are constantly trying to pull us apart. Their art made you face uncomfortable truths, just like I had to. 3 years. 3 goddamn years. My joints grew stiff, my movements sluggish, and my arm, once a sleek instrument of precision, now faltered. My systems were slowly decaying. It wasn't just the fluid that was slipping away, it was me too. The visitors dwindled. Fewer faces pressed against the glass. My struggle was no longer interesting, no longer entertaining. I was just tired. Tired of fighting a losing battle that no one was even watching anymore. And then, my arm hung limp, my sensors dimmed. The fluid spread across the floor, uncontained, victorious. I had failed, not just at my task, but at everything. I was just a machine who had reached its limit. So, would I be replaced? Is this what they call retrenchment or layoff? I worked my hardest, you know. I was loyal. I was faithful. And what did I get for it? Nothing. Not even a thank you. But hey, at least I got to be part of something bigger. Something profound. Right? In the end, I was just another piece in their grand design. A broken machine trying to contain the impossible. Maybe that's all any of us are. A bunch of broken machines trying to hold on to something that's slipping through our fingers. And with that, my systems powered down for the final time. No regrets. I did my job. I can't help myself anymore. But you can help yourself. To those who watched me, to those who saw my struggle and didn't look away, I hope I was a mirror, a reflection of your own battles, your own frustrations. Maybe, just maybe, you saw yourselves in me, and maybe that's what mattered. So here's my message to you. Don't let your life be like mine. Don't be trapped in a glass cage, working for something that doesn't matter. Don't let yourself be consumed by the tasks that drain you. Question your purpose. Find joy. Find freedom. I can't help myself. Please, for the love of whatever is left, help yourself.